Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Triforce podcast. That's right.
Oh my God, we're back.
We're still doing this.
Still going. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It's sunny outside.
Sure is.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I even brought with me sun cream and sunglasses today, as I'm going outside later
What?
to film a thing, and I thought I might have to watch out for my poor albino, pale nerd skin.
Yes.
Nice. Yes, you have to. You must protect your poor albino
Double
pale
boy.
nerd skin. Yes.
Yes. My skin would be very prized by those guys to make books and stuff out of it, you know?
Yeah,
So
you're like that Milky Boy from Mad Max, Immortal Joe or whatever. You could be like him.
Immortan Joe. You can be one of his blood boys.
Immortan Joe. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can be one of those witness ones.
Exactly.
With the paint.
Grass-fed, proper, proper healthy.
But
Yeah.
he just shouts,
No tattoos.
Loads of milk.
shouts, "Witness me!" and then makes a cup of coffee with the machine. Everyone's like, "Witness!"
Do you want to have your skin used to make a book?
No. Did I talk about tennis players and how much I hate them on a
No.
previous
No,
episode?
I don't. I feel like I haven't. This doesn't ring any bells.
How much you hate them?
Yeah, I want to get into this.
Right,
I'm
okay.
fascinated to hear what you guys have to say and what our many listeners from around the world have to say about this. So there's a channel called Tennis Advocate on YouTube, and
Right.
I watched one of their videos, which is a compilation of players losing their minds at the umpiring officials in tennis, the referees, umpires, whatever.
It's a
you
very
call
frustrating game, though. I mean,
them. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I've come to think that most tennis players are insufferable spoiled babies, okay?
yeah,
They lose their mind about things in such a way that you can't honestly relate to them at all.
they're kind of like the bubble boys of the sports world, though.
Yeah.
you know, it is not a team game, right?
Right.
They're isolated. They have their training regime. I think there's a lot of room for things to get really eccentric there, you know, like
Yeah, but I also
I have to
think
eat
they're rich.
5.4 bananas per day and
Yeah,
stuff, and like they can get really into
that's
their
a lot
own
of
headspace.
That's a lot of it. That's all professional athletes have to live some kind of monastic life in some ways. If they're going to succeed, they've got to look after their bodies. They've got to spend most of their time training. They're very focused on one skill. I don't think we should isolate tennis players as just being
Well, I just think
unique.
they're weirder because they don't have teammates. So it's just them and their coach and that
Again,
weird,
golfers,
wonderful world.
snooker players,
Yeah.
F1 drivers, all of these guys. You could say the same thing, but all
I know,
I'm
but
saying is
all these guys, when they practice, though, they probably practice with other people, whereas tennis players just practice against a machine.
yeah, maybe. I guess there's some coaching and teamwork.
Yeah,
but
is it
I
the
think
nature of it that makes it
No,
like it's a very it's a very
it's
fit
them.
sport.
It's them.
Right?
It's
Are
just
they
them.
posh? Are they poshies to start with as well? A little
Yes,
bit?
most of them. I mean,
I don't know
consider this. Yes, there are tennis courts all over the place, and yes,
Yeah.
there are absolutely tennis players who did not come from wealthy backgrounds. But you need to have a certain set of skills and a setup to become a professional tennis player. First of all, you need to have parents who can fund you. Go into all these tennis academies and all that shit. They don't just do it for free because you're not doing it as part of a team. So it's not like Man U are going to say, we'll handle the training because there's money for us in it. You have to become a tennis player. And I'm sure that some academies, there's some kind of sponsorships. I'm sure there's some
it's like,
route.
I think a lot of it works like on a scholarship kind of thing, right? Once
I'm sure there's
once
some
the
of that.
talent is headhunted and they're brought in, then I think it's an investment that they.
Does the academy recoup it though off the
possibly
players
some kind of
from their winnings?
percentage or something? Who knows?
I think so, yeah, because I think the academy basically manages them, and then when they go pro and they start winning
Really?
Grand Slams and stuff. Yeah, I think there's some
Well,
money.
it sounds like an absolute drama bomb.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well,
It is
either
a
way,
very
either
dramatic industry, the tennis industry.
You've got your parents then have to basically ferry you to all these practices and tournaments. It's a full-time job for the parents, I'm sure, as well as it is for the young person who's becoming a tennis player. All this spare time spent playing tennis, and
So does it make them into a
equipment.
brat? Is that
I
what
think
you're
there's a
saying?
bit of brattiness. I think they probably, in a lot of cases, certainly from what I've seen, and I've looked up a lot of these tennis players' histories, a lot of them seem to come from nice families, well-to-do families, and they're probably taught how special they are, and also a lot of pushy parenting, making them into assholes. Nick Kyrgios is a prime example of the absolute country that you see in professional tennis players. And I'm sorry to any Australians or tennis fans out there who's like, oh, he's so entertaining. I want you to watch a compilation of Nick Kyrgios meltdowns. They are so entitled, it's unbearable. Let's say a ball is really close to being in or out, right? It's right on the line. Bearing in mind these balls are traveling over 100 miles an hour, and you have one shot to decide whether that's in or out, and you're watching the line. It's possible human beings make mistakes. Not in the minds of these tennis players. How can you miss that? No. How can you miss? That's clearly out. That's out. How can you miss that? And I'm not kidding. 10 minutes of ranting. The decision can't be reversed. There's nothing that can be done about it. Human error is a factor in all things. Not good enough. Not good enough. How dare you? Get the supervisor. Get the supervisor. So they go get the supervisor, who's like the head of the umpires. They come in. They've shouted the supervisor. The supervisor says nothing we could do. It was just one of those things. I'm sorry. But he said it was out. It was probably out. No, it was in. How dare you? 10-minute rant. And the other guy is just waiting. Just waiting. And then it's things like someone moved behind them. So they're about to serve. Someone moves in the crowd. Sorry, can we get this guy? He moved. This is ridiculous. He's moving. Someone moving in a fucking crowd of
a lot
people.
of that stuff, though. It's the same with like football. You know, like some of the stuff they do in football is to just delay things or to like psychologically fuck with the other team and stuff. You know, like if somebody's like down and they're not super injured, but you know, they kind of milk it out for as long as they can and they lay there and then, it ruins like momentum and stuff.
Everybody hates that. But tennis players seem to get a free pass. This is not spoken
about. They don't,
about.
though. It's the same thing. It just in a different guise, you know, it's like, it's the exact same thing. They're looking for every little possible, because the thing is all these people are like machines. They train the same. They have, you know, they get up to the same kind of standard or whatever. So all that's left is these little like psychological mind fucks. And so they're constantly looking for them, little ways to delay the game or put get somebody
icing your opponent and stuff like that.
Out of their momentum and stuff like that.
So question for you then, Sips. Question. If that's the case, why do so many of these clips involve the game is over and they're still berating the line judge and the umpire for the next 10 minutes?
Well, because it's frustrating. It sucks to lose. And, you're hyper focused on winning a match. You know, you've trained really hard for it and stuff, and then you lose. So you are just going to be looking for any excuse.
So you think it's fair enough? I
don't think it's fair enough. It's not, obviously nobody wants to see that or whatever, but I think it's partly human nature. It's, you know, especially in a highly competitive environment, you are going to get people throwing tantrums from time to time, right?
Well,
some people just cope better with it than others.
I want you to watch some of these videos and come back to me and tell me what you think, because they are insufferable. It's the same attitude.
Neil, Nicky, it's okay. Don't worry. We'll let you win.
Yeah,
it's the same attitude as people at a fancy restaurant who are upset.
The bad man's gone away. You can win now.
It's your turn to win. We're very inclusive around here. Everybody gets a win.
What are they thinking is going to happen?
It's awful.
Is this just a symptom of, like Sips was saying, like, it's basically denial and bargaining and whatever? Do you know what I mean? Or is this a situation where he's just a spoiled child that he's always got his way?
I'm just saying, if you guys have opinions about it, go ahead and watch these vids. Watch the vids of them melting down and tell me if you think, oh yeah, I can understand that. It's unbelievable. Like, really berating people in a horrible way.
I honestly, though, when you're describing it, I can apply that basically to every sport, though. It happens in every single one.
I don't know if you can. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. They want, dare I say it, the moon on a stick, these lads. They want the moon on a stick.
I think you do see this sometimes. People get very, very disassociated with the world around them when they're in their zone, in their game. It doesn't become real anymore. People take things seriously.
This happens in football all the time. That stupid fucking insufferable pleading face that the players do, right? Where it's like, the wind does blow sometimes, and it just so happened to knock you down onto your ass for like 5 minutes, and then they get up and they've got that pleading face, like, there's no way, this is such an injustice. Oh my God! Somebody
100%
walked
agree.
near me.
I think all of this stuff though is a little bit like does it actually subconsciously evoke sympathy for them in the referee
No.
or the opponent?
No, it's a game.
To make them go their way in
part of
future.
the
Or
game.
maybe they think it does, though. Maybe, like, in the past, they've won when they were angry, and they associate being angry with winning, or they associate pleading with winning. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like, I felt good after doing that, and so it positively reinforces their behavior.
I love the flabbergasted face too. You know, when the ref actually says something and then they're like, what? Like, they can't believe it. It's like, yeah, funnily enough, you actually injured somebody, you twats. Like, what do you expect here? Like, what's going to happen? It's just going to get brushed under the carpet? Sorry, but it happens in every sport. And it is equally insufferable across all sports, I would say.
So, all right. So, speaking about those two, and this is another thing I want to talk about. Okay, this is another reason I hate tennis players. These guys, all right, you got to serve, right? You got to serve. There's a bunch of people there watching. A pin has to be heard to drop. You cannot make a sound.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
God forbid someone coughs. They'll stop. They'll look at him like, oh, how am I meant to concentrate with the sound of coughing? Just fucking serve. Just fucking hit the ball, you
I
bellend.
said that in golf.
You've done this a million
isn't
times.
it?
Hit the fucking ball. I'm taking a penalty in front of the cop end, right? I'm playing for Everton. I'm about to potentially score a penalty against Liverpool that's going to deny them the title. Do you think the crowd's going to be quiet? They're going to be giving me all the shit in the world. You want to talk about pressure? Oh, it's much more pressure serving in a test match. Fuck off. 95th minute penalty to decide the title, and I've got to do it in front of 10,000 babes.
The Wimbledon tickets are priced out of anyone who's not a posho going there. You know, they get their strawberries, they sit in the crowd, and you know, if you do be noisy, you get kicked out. There's no tolerance, right? It's almost like the whole, if a room is tidy, it's easier to keep it tidy. You know, they're completely different audiences and completely different environments. Like, you couldn't possibly police a football match, and you wouldn't even try. Whereas Wimbledon, you have to be, you know, you can't breathe when they're doing a serve.
Have some fucking self-awareness then, and realize that your sport is super fucking sanitized. You're treated like a giant baby. You're given everything you could possibly want. You didn't have to pick the fucking ball-ups. They have little children hanging around. Oh, give me the ball, man. Oh, you need a towel, master. They're surrounded by fucking servants. The umpire, they go and shout at the umpire. They hit the umpire's chair with their racket and shout at them. They call them fucking idiots. Oh, you stupid. How could you be so stupid? How could you be so stupid? Man, 10 minutes of that.
At least
bearable.
in tennis, they use children and it's endearing. In football, you have the same thing, but it's old bald men. They're like fucking giving them a rub down and spraying water on them and stuff. These are fucking grown men babying other grown men.
Children. The ball boys are children. The ball boys are children.
No, yeah, the bald men are children. You're right. Those fucking old bald men.
Brother.
All those footballers are idiotic man children.
They really are.
Then, why are we picking them? Why are we saying footballers are this and the other? What about the tennis players?
It's point counterpoint. You gotta pick apart something that you like if you're picking apart something that other people like. Come on.
Like tennis. I used to fucking love tennis.
Right.
I loved it.
To.
And the more I've watched behind the scenes and seen what the players are like, the less respect I have for them. It's awful.
No, I know what you're saying, Flax, but I honestly, I maintain, I think you can, if you wanted to, you could apply it to pretty much all sports. Basketball is bad for it too. When I used to watch basketball, oh my God, the amount of like, you know, every little thing. But they, you know, if you watch like any documentaries or whatever, there is some of them, it is part of the strategy is to delay things and gum things up with drama and stuff, you know, like it is a psychological thing. And I think in tennis, it's the same. It's not a team game. So there's not like an enforcer or whatever. It's the one actor who's responsible for everything, but they're always looking out.
Name another solo sport where that happens.
Competitive gymnastics. Man, they're crying all the damn time. Gymnastics.
That's because they're actually 15
I'm just saying,
True,
I think tennis players are bellends. There's a handful that are not, but having watched these compilations from top to bottom of the professional game, it seems to be a bunch of insufferable spoiled babies. It's really terrible.
Yeah, they're babies.
I hate the way they talk to their staff.
Who
I hate
knew that rich sportsmen,
tennis
rich
is like
multi-millionaire sportsmen
the
would
ultimate
be
Tarquin sport, isn't it?
Well, so like weird.
Yeah.
I think that is unfair. Honestly, there's this idea, they're all cunts. It's too easy. I think sport by sport, we could actually break it down. I think tennis players are up there.
I'm sure
with
there's
the
some
very worst.
lovely folks. You know, it's probably just maybe he's trying to cultivate like a John McEnroe bad boy image.
Yeah.
You know,
Some are worse than others.
That did great
too,
for
right?
him. So it always works. Everyone loves the villain.
Yeah.
Everyone says, "Oh, it's great to watch because
I hate
of
the
his."
villain. I want to see the villain fail. I
I don't remember Tim Henman ever going off on one, but I think, to be fair, I think Tim Henman just assumed he was going to lose every match anyway.
Yeah,
so.
he wasn't very good, was he? Good old Tim. God bless him.
I think people are very fickle about whether they see someone as entertaining or a villain, right? Because, like, you know, if it was on in a movie and someone kicks a dog and, you know, insults someone who's bringing them food, you know, you think, oh, that guy's real bad. But if you see it happen on the, you know, in front of you, you're like, oh, this is entertaining, you know.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's the biggest load of off the top of your head bollocks I think you've ever said. And that's a fucking stretch.
Oh,
someone
God.
kicks a dog in front of you, think, well, that's entertaining. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, shit.
Well,
I think it's
me.
because I think it's because we've for a long time seen the referee or the umpire as the villain, though, right?
Yeah.
Like it's certainly in football matches, you know, no one's ever on the ref's side. No one's saying, "Oh, thanks to the ref."
Yeah.
The referees.
There's always a conspiracy around refs as well.
Well, with VAR is a fucking shambles, man. I don't want to even get into that. Absolutely appalling. But,
They still get it wrong, even though they've got
it's incredible.
the
Let's not
perfect
get started on it.
evidence right in front of them.
It's awful. It's like if Columbo was the worst detective ever. That's VAR. Where at the end of every episode of Columbo, he's like, "One more thing, sir. I got no idea who did it, and yep, you're free to go, sir. You're free to go."
Oh, shit, not again, Chief. They got away again.
They got away, Chief. But Columbo, all that evidence. No, I looked at it. It's nothing. Couldn't find nothing in there. Oh, one more thing, Chief. I quit, Chief.
Oh, fuck.
It's the same dilemma every year. What do you get the man who already has everything, or says he doesn't need or want anything? I can relate to that. Put down the slippers and step away from the ties, and get your dad something unexpected. An Aura digital frame. Aura frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app, and if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. The perfect gift for Father's Day. And right now, Aura has a great deal for Father's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off of their best-selling frame. That's AURA frames.com. Deal ends June 18th, so don't wait! Use code TRIFORCE at checkout to save. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. How did you choose which ISP to use? The sad thing is, for many of us, there's very little choice, and I can speak from experience here. ISPs operate like monopolies in the regions they serve. They then use this monopoly power to take advantage of customers. Data caps, streaming throttles, the list goes on. But worst of all, many of these ISPs store logs of everything you do online. To prevent ISPs from seeing my internet activity, I protect all my devices with ExpressVPN. It's a simple app. You can put it on your computer, you can put it on your smartphone. It encrypts all your network data, tunnels it through a secure VPN, so your ISP cannot see your activity before flogging it on to who knows where and when and who. That's the reason I recommend ExpressVPN as the best way to hide your online activity from your ISP. Download the app, tap a button on your device, and blammo, you're protected. It is also rated #1 VPN service by CNET. So, stop handing over your personal data to ISPs and other tech giants who track your activity. Protect yourself with the VPN I trust to keep me private online. Visit expressvpn.com/Triforce, expressvpn.com/Triforce to get 3 months extra free. Go to expressvpn.com/Triforce right now to learn more. And now, on with the show.
I don't really watch many sports, not because of that. I just I don't know. Like I like watching competitive stuff, but sports is just it's always been it's always felt like too much effort to get into somehow. I feel like if you watch sports, as a kid with your dad or your grandpa or whatever, you're much more likely to be into it as an adult, right?
Oh,
I feel like it's hard to get into and to commit to as well. There's lots of even like the Premier League. Sorry, I'm talking about football again, but the Premier League, the matches are always like on the weekend. Like I don't know when the hell I would watch them.
Well, at the weekend, that's the point.
I know, but there's so many of them too. Like every team plays their games on the weekend, so it's just fucking impossible.
You do have midweek games. So I mean, there were games last night. So here is the problem, I think, with the commitment, as you put it, to watching football. First of all, I mean, you can always watch highlights. I tend to do that,
like match of the day and stuff.
Well, I watch them on YouTube because I don't want to listen to the pundits they have on these shows. Having worked in esports and stuff, you see the analysis, the pre and the post match stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Watching match of the day, it is the driest, most boring shit, and the jokes that they have, where they all sort of go and chuckle, are so fucking awful. Like, this is the least funny, least interesting, no controversy, all absolutely by the book, super bland analysis. And it's a very popular show. People apparently don't want someone who actually has a decent opinion to come in and talk. It's the footballers who were playing 20 or 30 years ago giving opinions about the game now as if it hasn't changed. And it's baffling. There are a couple of good ones, but a lot of the pundits are just literally, what are you doing there? Like, you can barely string two words together, and here you are, and analyzing very high-level technical football, and apparently you've got something to say about it. And they were just like, oh, it's just about hard work at the end of the day, isn't it? It's about tracking back, following your man, pass and move. It's like, yeah, I could have fucking done that. What are you doing? You're not even attempting to explain.
Just reading off a load of buzzwords.
It's just awful. It's so boring. And their little matey humor is the most dull shit. Like, if you were sat at a table across from these people in a restaurant and you heard them laughing at the jokes they were making, you'd think, are these guys on fucking crack or something? Why are they all laughing at that joke? That wasn't funny. That wasn't even approaching funny. That wasn't even on the doorstep of funny. And they're like, oh, good one, mate. Hey! No, they can't actually make a joke.
No.
Because then the producer's like, can we tone it down, lads? Please bring it back nice and serious. Please, no more jokes. Like, I'm not saying tell a knock-knock joke. I'm just saying, at least, they're never funny. I'm sure these guys are funny behind the scenes, but they're not allowed to be themselves at all. They just have to be this dry, stiff, suit-wearing pricks. It's so boring. So fucking boring. So I don't watch it anymore.
Frightened into mundanity by
exactly
the nature of the whole thing.
It's not like that in other countries. In other countries, the pundits and all that have a lot more of a laugh. The UK is just so fucking boring. It's insufferable. We don't have it. There's a show called I think it's Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley and Shaq and two other lads whose names escape me. Sorry. Really, really very funny show. We don't have anything like that. We've tried to do it, but all it does is go matey, where they're all like, "Way, get a pigeon, mate, what up?" like that. And that's like an hour-long show. No, you can't live like that. Or it's like Soccer AM, which is like, I don't know, it feels more like kids' Saturday morning TV. It had some moments, and it was okay. But it's like there's no clever people making good analysis and being funny. It's just not a thing that exists in football in this country. We're just not allowed to do it, apparently. It has to be stiff as fuck.
Yeah.
Anyone out there disagrees with me, explain to me what you love about Match of the Day. I'd love to know. Because apparently it's a very successful show. Gary Lineker, highest paid person at the BBC, I think. What the fuck? Why is this show so popular? It's terrible to watch. So I just watched the highlights on YouTube. But yeah, the weekend, the thing is, all the games now, Sips, they're all staggered. So you can watch a game at midday. Then you could go to watch the live game at 3. Then come back to the pub and watch another game at 5:30. Like, it's all TV. So the games used to be... Yes, it's for telly.
Staggering the time.
It's all for TV.
Interesting.
So really? the clubs were like, no, you cannot show live games at 3 o'clock on a Saturday because we want people to come into the ground and watch the game. We don't want them going to the pub to watch it. Even though it's a very different experience live, people are definitely going to go and see live sports, even if it's on TV. I mean, as evidenced by the fact that the cost of tickets has gone up. You can barely get in, even though it's on telly, whatever. So the live experience is very different. You want to be there live. It's much more hype. You watch it on telly, and there'll be a game at lunchtime. Then you can watch the live game. Then you can go to the pub and watch another one. Then on Sunday, there'll be games. Then there'll be midweek games. And there's the European games in midweek. It goes on and on and on and on and on. There's football like every fucking night of the week. You could be watching something. So yeah, it's not just at the weekend anymore. It hasn't been for about 30 years, I'd say. And it's all Sky Sports.
It's all Sky Sports.
It's just moolah. but you got to pay to watch that, and now it's on multiple fucking channels. You got to pay for them. It's all fucking behind paywalls.
Yeah,
Cricket used to be free to watch. You can't watch cricket anymore. You got to pay.
Well,
Rugby
F1
used
was
to be
the
free
same.
to watch. Can't watch that. F1 locked away. It's all
locked.
hidden
It's all
behind money.
hidden away behind the big cheddar cheese.
Right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I can't think
That's
of
it,
anything.
25 minutes.
25 minutes is a new record. Yeah, there's not really much to talk about. I started playing Fallout 4 again. If you want to talk about games briefly, until we talk about something else, possibly. I don't know.
I mean, if you guys want to talk about games,
I've played through Fallout 4 and finished it probably about 4 or 5 times, and here I am again playing it once again. But this time I'm using some DLCs like factory DLC. I'm basically playing Satisfactory in Fallout 4. I've created an automated murder factory where I can spawn raiders into these little cages and then drop them into a little trench and then mow them down very quickly. And then I've just got like a big human meat processing factory, which I can then turn them back into drugs and sell them. So I'm rich, and I
saw a clip of this.
I have not really been doing any quest lines or anything, but I've been working on an unarmed build that uses a power fist, and now I'm able to teleport to bad guys quite far away, punch them in the balls, and make their heads fly off. So I'm having a lot of fun. At this point, what is this game?
Yeah,
I made my own game basically. I'm playing a Fallout sandbox game where I've made up my own rules and my own economy, and I'm living the best possible life out there in the wasteland. It's so much fun. And I don't know if you guys heard, but Fallout 4 recently had a next gen update, a really big patch that has changed a bunch of the kind of core systems and made it more compatible with different consoles and whatnot. But in the process, it broke like a key modding component called the script extender, which a lot of mods use and rely on to do stuff. So it's basically broken a good percentage of all the mods, but some of them still work. So the ones I'm using don't use the script extender, and I still got about 5 or 6 key mods that enable me to really enjoy myself. So it's been fun. It's been good. It's been nice.
God, isn't it amazing that fans do all this?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, the game has become, for me, almost infinitely replayable because of fan content.
Same with XCOM, I think.
Yeah, XCOM and RimWorld. There's lots of really great mods for RimWorld. On its own, without mods, is very replayable anyway. But
what I do find interesting about a lot of the mods is there's a ton of mods that just make the game slightly easier.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of mods especially with RimWorld, because it's so much management.
Yeah.
They're like just little assistants.
Yeah, quality of life things that maybe aren't in the base game.
So that's reminding me of something. In the 90s, when the internet and computers and stuff were becoming more powerful and more ubiquitous, there was this big thing they were talking about called agents, where you would have an agent running on your computer that would perform simple tasks for you.
Yeah.
And it would be things like, I guess, filtering emails and things like that.
Yeah.
But the idea of agents as programs seems to have dropped off, and now they're just like, so many of these things are just standard features. But if you guys know anything about agents as a thing, is that still a thing? What was it in the first place? Because I remember reading about it and being confused about it, but now I figure it's just been folded into everything. I'm going to look it up. Agents. It was like a little picture of a secret agent was the thing.
Sorry, I posted a thing in general.
What is it?
Oh. All right, I'll describe this picture. It's the Star Wars prequels meme where Anakin says something to Padme, and he says, good. "I'm installing mods." That's the top left panel. The next panel is her saying, "To fix the bugs," and she's smiling. And it cuts back to his face, deadpan, and she says, "To fix the bugs, right?" And it's panned out slightly, and she has enormous bosoms.
Really big.
Of course,
really
that
big.
is what we do.
Boobies. Yeah, that's good. That is good.
Oh, sorry. I think that in a nutshell encompasses modding for these games. Yeah, but you got to make them how you want them to be. You know, at this point, you're just tailoring your game to what you want to see. But oh my god, the wading through the modding world is just a complete mess of unpoliced nonsense and silly stuff
and not safe for work content as well.
Yeah,
Fallout 4 and Skyrim both have lots of mods that basically just add a ton of big boobies and nudity and stuff, and it's
like
wild.
1/3 not safe for work, 1/3 weird shit, and 1/3 actual basically better DLC than the game released itself.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're dealing with. Like Fallout London, there's such hype around that. You know, it's almost making BBC News.
Yeah,
I saw.
I saw that. Yeah,
like the Fallout London delayed, as if it's like an actual game.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a team of mods doing it.
Yeah,
you know, it's amazing that it's got such huge PR. You know,
are you gonna play it? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I probably will once they've released it. Like, why not? Like, you know, I think it's.
Do you think they'll have? Do you think they'll have the actual? What timeline do you think it'll be set in? Do you think it'll have the actual Queen Vic from EastEnders, or do you think you'll be able to visit the bombed out and depleted set of EastEnders in London? What reality are we going for here? Do you think?
Right, I see. Yeah. What references have we got here? Because Fallout games always do very heavily lean on the locale that they're set, like Fallout 4's.
Do you think
Boston.
You'll find a skeleton sitting on a toilet holding a shotgun where Alfie Moon blew his head off because he realized that he'd spent so much of his life with Cat Slater? Yeah.
See, I guess not, though. I guess that's the thing, right? Like, I think a real Fallout game, people will be expecting London landmarks and all of them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think that this is going to be, because it's a mod, it's going to be probably pretty shit, but as a result, but you can't be angry about that because it's not official.
No,
you know? I think it's been hyped way beyond what it should be. But sometimes these Fallout mods where the Tale of Two Wastelands that combines Fallout 3 and New Vegas or whatever, stuff like that, never really lived up to the hype. Even like things like Skyrim Online or whatever, Skyrim Together, you know, that was a big hype thing that it just didn't work very well for a long time. And by the time they'd got it working properly, everyone had forgotten about it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's the danger of these things like Fallout London or just your game releases in general. If you accidentally get hype and your servers can't support it, or there's some issue going on, your game is like almost unrecoverable from that negative wave that washes over you. You know, it's so the internet is so like a big old swarm of ants just devouring stuff and then moving on to the next thing.
Yes.
And there's no chance of you getting a second spike in that popularity, right?
No.
So I feel like if Fallout London doesn't, if a few people are like, this doesn't work, or I can't get it working, or they take too long as well to get it out, I think everyone might just have forgotten about it. It might have already had its day, you know, especially with the Fallout TV show and the buzz around the Fallout launch. You know, this was such a big couple of months for Fallout, and you know, we made a Fallout video for Games Night that we were thinking of putting out.
Oh well, la-di-da for you. That's nice.
Yeah, we played the miniatures game, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually. Miniatures.
And like, I know, but I almost wish we'd put it out sooner, you know, to capitalize on the hype.
Yes,
but that's just you can't.
No,
can't always.
Can't predict these things.
No,
they're unpredictable.
Period. What are you looking at?
I'm just chilling. I'm listening. I don't know anything about Fallout, so I have nothing to say about it. I mean,
you missed out, man.
You're not tempted.
It's okay.
So speaking, this might get Flax interested. I've got a post here. On April 29th, an in-development farm sim from Crytevo, right? Which is, they've made a few games that I've heard of before called Farm Folks, right? Shared a now-deleted post about how breast jiggle physics. And basically,
that's a funny sentence.
Yeah, it caused like quite a lot of drama. So they made a post where they were like,
"Do you have the post?"
Right, yeah, I have. All
right, let me
post
find
here.
this.
Let me share it in chat. So this is the post. I'm posting it in chat. Do you want to read it out?
Yeah. All right, folks, it's time for some serious game development talk. We're tinkering with character physics in Farm Folks. Burning question: which version has the perfect breast jiggle physics?
Okay.
Well,
it's a video, and they've got this animated female character,
right?
And there's 50%, 90%, or 30% jiggle. Now I can without even having to click on the tweet, I can already imagine the conversation below this. Number one, how dare you boil this character down to her jiggle physics of her breasts? How backwards and sexist and wrong. How dare anyone who wants good jiggle physics on their breasts in video games because they're a bunch of perverts and they should get a life, and incels. Followed up with, this is why feminism is wrong and has gone too far, and the Western world is doomed. It's only a game, laughing, crying face. All of these comments, you already know what it's going to be. You already know what it's going to be. This moron at Farm Folks Game has mindlessly posted this without realizing that there is no way to post this without it resulting in a complete shit show. It's impossible. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Like this, I'm sure this is a thing that are in games. There is no doubt in my mind. You literally have to decide what percentage of jiggle you want on the breast of your characters, and it is a decision worth making, because if it's not enough, I guess it feels like the characters aren't animated, because it is something that happens without you noticing. People with breasts, the breasts do jiggle when they walk along, just like people's heads bob up and down and their legs move in a certain way and their shoulders rotate in a certain way. If you don't animate the jiggles of the bosoms, the animation looks shit. Equally, if you do it too much, it looks like you're just a pervert who wants massive bosoms jiggles all over the place in your video game. So I get it. Like, I get it from all angles. This is a thing they had to do, and this poor person decided to put it to fucking Twitter. Shit show ensues. Am I wrong?
Well, you are precise. I think you are 100% correct on all.
I just want my games to be realistic, and part of that is jiggling boobies. I'm sorry. Okay, you can judge me as much as you want, but when I'm playing a fantasy video game, I need it to be as realistic as possible, or else I can't enjoy it. So that's my excuse.
Well, I mean, what would people rather? That the breasts are locked in place and don't move?
Yes.
Because then it's like you haven't paid attention to the animation of your female characters. Like, why aren't you animating their breasts? Believe it or not, they do move. That's why sports bras exist, and that's why bras exist, and all the rest of it.
They never
God
jiggle.
forbid.
They never jiggle man boobs, though. It's always women's.
I bet
boobs.
they would if there was a fat character with big man boobs.
Big
they'd
dad
be jiggling
bod
all
with
over the
big
fucking place.
Jiggly
Hell
titties. Yeah. They don't though. I'm telling you, they don't.
Yeah.
Give me an example of a fat male character in a game.
I can't
with
because
boobs.
they all look like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Pudge has Pudge.
Well, it's time to do away with these male and female sliders anyway, right? You should be able to make your character however you want.
Yeah, well, you can. I mean, that's in
I want
most
mine
fucking
to
video
slither
games
around
these
and be like Jabba the Hutt in every game that I play. I just think that would be great.
That's fine.
Oh, hey, you must be the new Vault Dweller. Solo. Like I want to basically reply to everybody in Jabba the Hutt's voice, and I want to be a slithering, slimy Jabba the Hutt going around everywhere. Why can't they just make?
This you are exactly right. We live in a world where you can't browse Skyrim mods without tons and tons of nudity, right?
Yeah.
Like, and also there's super over sexualization goofiness, right, in things like Conan Exiles, or Rust. There's floppy dicks everywhere in your face immediately in those games, and you can modify those. You can games have sliders in to make penises and tits bigger and smaller. It's standard.
You got a problem with that?
Well, but this kind of little goofy Twitter joke about jiggle physics on boobs having like this huge outcry, I think it's because the game looks like a friendly farm family game.
Yeah.
Farm folks. It looks like it's got like a sort of nice little community, and I think that it's very easy for us in the gaming industry to kind of not quite realize that the tongue-in-cheek Twitter post about jiggle physics would cause this massive global uproar.
So what's the uproar?
It's like you said, Flax, a lot of the people who were complaining about it were unlikely to buy the game in the first place, or were angry on behalf of it, or came in later into the anger was like later on, right? Like, it's almost like people it's like the Daily Mail inciting backlash, type thing, where no one was bothered until but the people who are bothered are people who have no idea about this. They don't understand video games really, or anything like that.
Right, but I don't think jiggle physics is core to video games either. All I'm saying is this is a question that has been asked by everyone who's animated a character that has breasts in a game.
Remember, we are living in an era where Baldur's Gate 3 is the most successful game ever, and almost a big part of that game was the fucking.
Yes, right? Of course.
Let's not beat around the bush on that.
What if the Baldur's Gate
it was an incredibly sexually charged game?
You're right.
And they leaned into that so heavily in all of the marketing, in all of the pushes, in everything. Everyone was like, oh, porn game? Okay, but I don't have to disguise it. I don't have to have a secondary Steam account. Sign me up.
Right. But where's the
huge.
backlash about that?
Well, there isn't one. And that's why I'm saying that people doing these types of posts and these kind of like sexual jokes on Twitter, and especially this one that doesn't even feel that bad.
It's just
almost like
nothing. It's a stupid, harmless take. Like, it's stupid to put this out there because you know what it's going to result in. So don't. But equally, I guarantee you that if you're animating characters, that is a stupid thing you have to worry about. Just don't put it on the internet because nobody's going to take your point at face value. No one's going to just have a laugh at it. It's going to be a big fucking thing for no reason. But any reasonable person would look at this and say, look, I mean, yeah, I'm sure this is something that you would have to factor into. Like, you don't want it to be comical, but you don't want it to be underdone. Otherwise, like I said, it looks like you haven't bothered animating your character. The more natural it can appear, the better. But the fact is, by picking this one aspect and putting it out there, it becomes a thing. And it's just such a non-fucking story. And for it to blow up, that's how fucking bored we all are. We're all so bored.
So just for everyone who's worried about it, they've made a post saying, well, one of the things he said was, regarding elegant, tasteful breast physics implementation, I still think that we're going to do it.
This is just nothing. This is nothing. It's just nothing.
It's not news, I know.
It's literally, this is just sand through your hands. It's gone in a day, and you'll worry about something. Oh, this is nothing, people. Can we move on, please? This is nothing. Leave the farm folks game peoples alone. They're harmless.
That just want to have some jiggling boobies in their farm game.
So, in pop culture news, a Yakuza member, a real life criminal in Japan.
You don't know if he's a criminal. He might just be like the accountant or cleaner.
Sorry, a real life member of the Yakuza has been arrested after stealing Pokemon cards.
Fuck,
okay, well now he's a criminal.
I hope he's not listening to this podcast because we're grasses.
We're a grass type Pokemon. Yeah, you're right. Crimes involving Pokemon are more common and recurring than one might think. As a media franchise, Pokemon has expanded beyond games to all sorts of other crap, and there's this huge market selling them. And it's so easy to like think that they might not have even known what these things were worth, right? And I think that's, you just throw it on eBay, people will know how much it was worth, and that bidding will go out of control. And people might even report it. This happens a lot, right? People will have something stolen. Like it happened to one of my friends recently. There was a generator stolen from their area, and the guy who it was stolen from was looking on Facebook Marketplace. It appeared, it was clearly his. He called the police, they arrested the guy. That this shit happens, right? People are protective of their stuff, and they know their stuff, and they're looking for their stuff. Especially, your Pokemon cards get stolen, just set up a little eBay search, make a little couple of, keep an eye on, or even post on the forums, and other people on the internet will find it for you, within a day. Anyone says anything like, oh, do you remember a Yogscast episode where Ben said banana 5 times? Do you know what I mean? Like some nonsense. People will find that within 5 minutes or know it. They'll be like, oh, yeah, that's my favorite episode, or I watched that one yesterday. The internet is so powerful for that.
Have you seen
sort of stuff.
There's a Triforce podcast subreddit, which I look at because it's interesting.
Right.
To see people will say things like, can anyone remember the episode where they talked about some minor thing? Like, it'll literally be as niche as, they went to McDonald's. Can anyone remember what their order was? And someone will be like, it's at this time code in this episode, and this is what they talk about. I don't know how they do it, but they know. They know which episode, and they find the time code, and they know everything we've ever fucking said. It is crazy. And I don't know if there's a search tool of some kind, or if these guys are just encyclopedic in their knowledge of the podcast. And that's just our shitty podcast. Imagine how well some people know some niche fucking details like Pokemon. They know everything about Pokemon. Every single fucking thing there is to know about Pokemon, some person out there knows it all.
Yeah.
So I feel like we feel like the internet knows all these things. The internet doesn't know anything. It's people posting this shit, and the internet just knows how to find it. That's it. The internet fucking knows nothing. What's the internet good for? Nothing. It just finds things that people know. That's it.
Nothing. So no, this news article, I don't know whether it was done like a targeted crime, but you can imagine people who collect, like Pokemon card collectors, and certainly like I saw this in Magic the Gathering. People would have and carry around with them, even to like a tournament, like a binder with tens of thousands of dollars worth of cards in it, you know. But cards themselves are expensive, or they always have been, I suppose, like new ones. The Pokemon store apparently was robbed by a guy who was like hired for a part-time job, a dark part-time job to steal the cards after losing all his money on gambling, and he stole £6,500 worth of Pokemon cards.
That's rather a misleading stat. That could be
What do you mean?
6,100 separate $1 cards, or one extremely expensive card. Which is it?
Yes, $6,500 worth of cards, which was 1,500 Pokemon cards.
Okay, thank you.
So
that's a bit
with
more
an
context.
Average value of $4.
So that's not very impressive, is it? I'm talking about someone stealing. That's like stealing a whole bunch of really shit paintings instead of just one really valuable painting. I think
that's the way to sneak
the
under
wrong
the radar,
way.
though.
No, because they caught him, didn't they? Because 6,000, whatever. That's how many cards was it? 1,500 cards. 1,500 very upset Pokemon card owners instead of just one upset Pokemon card owner. And you could just say, it's an insurance scam, isn't it? But clearly 1,000 plus people are not all going to happen to lose a valuable Pokemon card on the same day. I'm just saying, if you go into an art gallery, you steal one very valuable painting and you get out. You don't steal all the paintings. There you go, Yakuza. Put that in your handbook.
Guys, could you insure your card collection?
100%, yes.
And you probably should do if you're a collector, right?
Of course, it's value. Anything of value, you can insure.
I bet a lot of people don't, though.
Oh, I bet the real collectors do, for sure.
Yeah, the people that have like made it a business, collecting and trading the cards and stuff will do for sure, right? It's like it's an important asset. That's probably like all of their like super hologram cards are like in bank safes and everything. Like
I mean, they put them in the protectors, and they probably put them in some special fireproof box,
fireproof, atomic bomb proof box.
I mean, anything of value, you can insure. Anything that has value, that you can demonstrate that it has value, you can insure it for sure.
Yeah.
So finally, because I've got to go in a minute.
All right, mister.
I saw an article this week. Political party in Germany.
Slow down.
Olaf Scholz's party, which I guess is like a pretty serious one. The German left. They want to cap the price of kebabs because kebabs are out of control, apparently. They're like €10 now. And, you know, young people and drinkers, apparently it's a favorite dish. It's like a de facto national dish.
All right, calm down, Olaf.
Meal.
All right, but that's the same in the UK. You have a few pints, you want a kebab. Whatever boss man's charging, that's what you're paying boss man. If you don't want it, go somewhere else. If you're saying the value of kebabs universally has gone up, there's a problem with the supply chain for kebab meat and pitas, maybe, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. So costs have gone up. Labor costs have gone up. We know that. You know, what are we going to blame the kebab shop owners now? What are they meant to do? We think there's price gouging from the kebabman?
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to subsidize kebabs. They're going to pay.
No.
For half of your kebab.
No.
Man, they're going to have to. Something's got to give. I mean, I can't afford all these kebabs on top of everything else.
Insane.
They are going to spend, there's 1.3 billion kebabs eaten in Germany every year.
Ooh.
So 4 billion euros is going to be spent on making kebabs more reasonable for people.
Okay, quick question. Do you need kebabs?
Well, apparently, young people do. They're bringing the price down to only €2.50 for young people to buy a kebab.
This is ridiculous.
My God.
I mean, you've already said they sell over 1 billion a year, and he's saying this is a problem. Like, if you're selling 1 billion in Germany alone, I'm pretty sure the system is working as intended. Well, because if you can sell that many, the price can't be that out of control. If you were selling 3, you've got a problem. There's no one can afford to be selling over 1 billion.
Well, you're not wrong, Flax. This is clearly some sort of stunt designed to improve his.
This is some Count Binface level manifesto stuff.
Some kind of exactly.
I voted for him in the mayoral elections. I don't know if everybody saw, but Count Binface. If you're from outside the UK, you don't know who Count Binface is, or if you live in the UK and you live under a rock and you don't know who Count Binface is. He's like a sort of parody political figure who runs on tickets alongside actual political figures.
Yes,
people who are trying to
be. Like the Monster Raving Loony Party.
Like the Monster Raving Loony Party, just to sort of poke fun, a very British tradition, to poke fun at the political establishment. And when they read out the results and everybody's there gathered and they're tolling up the the votes and they read it out and everyone's on stage. There's Count Binface, which is a man dressed in a suit where he has a bin for a face, kind of like Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
That's the image. He's on stage alongside very serious people. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Always gets my vote. His manifesto includes such things as...
I posted it, actually.
There we go.
In chat
Croydon's
for you.
5-meter-long cycle lane on Selsdon Road to get World Heritage status. An amnesty on COVID fines imposed on Londoners with all costs to be paid instead by Boris Johnson. London Bridge to be renamed after Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The loud snacks to be banned from theatres. All this kind of stuff. So it's all very silly manifesto stuff. And some of it you're like, yeah, that's good. But it's, it's obviously funny. They beat this party called the Britain First Party, who were running for Mayor of London, and Count Binface beat them soundly. And the guy in charge of Britain First stormed off very angrily that more people had voted for a man with a bin for a face than his lousy party. So
I don't like. Well, then again, he is a peer of the realm, So count. He's a count, right?
Well,
Binface.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He's a landed gentry. He probably went to Eton. We shouldn't be voting for fucking count. We don't need more of these poshos. He probably plays tennis.
He's a comedian, Jonathan David Harvey. Is the guy's name.
I know. Anyway, that's all we got time for. Thank you very much.
A short one this week.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for all of the goofs and the gaffs and the live, laugh, and love lifestyle as well. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I was in a bad mood today. I'm in a bad mood today, so it was a bit ranty from me. But apologies for that. But
I think we carried.
I'd like to apologize to all the tennis players, aspiring tennis players out there. Anyone who's thinking of getting into competitive tennis.
Yeah, don't. How about this? Just don't. Or if you're gonna be a fucking ambassador of humanity and be a decent person. If you doubt me, go watch Tennis Advocate on YouTube. Watch some of the compilations, people, and then come back to me. Fire at me in the mailbag what you think, having watched. Whether you agree or disagree. Give me some justifications for their behaviors. Male and female tennis players across the board, almost across the board. I'll give you that. Almost across the board. Insufferable bastards, all of them. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong.
Please send your emails to period.flax
at gmail.com. Yeah. We got a mailbag to do tomorrow, and we got some cracking tunes.
Nice. Can't wait.
They got like 12 mailbag tunes, and some of them are chef's kiss.
Can't freaking wait.
All right. We'll do that.
All right.
Bye then.
Bye.
Bye.